What's up, guys? We have a new format, and therefore it's time for a new meta tier list. I have a regionals coming up tomorrow on April 12th, Saturday in South Park, PA. If you're going to be there, say hello. I'm looking forward to it. But whenever I have a regional coming up and we have a new format, I like to do a tier list to kind of prepare myself and kind of mentally process what I want to be preparing for. So let's go ahead and start with a new meta tier list for the coming format. I have 5 tiers here. One is best decks. Then we have strong, we have rogue, but still good. We have top tier soon. These are decks that, like, I wouldn't play now because they're about to be really good with new support coming out, so I would just wait. And then in the bottom tier, we have there are better options. Like, of course, you can play them. You can play any of these decks, do your thing, but, you know, I wouldn't recommend these guys on the bottom. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We're just going to go in order, starting off with Blue Eyes Invoked. In this one, I'm going to just say there are better options, and obviously the better option is Blue Eyes Primite, which I'm going to chuck up here in best decks. I think right now in this weird little mini format between the ban list and the release of Alliance Insight, Blue Eyes Primite, basically unhit, has one of the strongest recursive engines in the game, so I do think it's very strong. When it comes to the Blue Eyes Invoke deck, I've honestly never played it, but I think that an a negate in Mechaba that requires you to discard, and then there's like a lot of bricks in there, like Invocation. You're adding more bricks to your already Blue Eyes package bricks of True Light and the Blue Eyes White Dragon cards, and I don't know. There's just too many bricks in this deck, and I feel like you're not getting the same kind of power level that you're getting with Primite. Because honestly, if you're gonna make a Mecha buff for a negate, you can just make, search a Drill Beam for a negate and a Banish, and I don't know, and it recurs itself. I just think it's a lot better to play the Primite cards. Obviously, they're more expensive, so if you're on a budget, go ahead and play the Blue Eyes Invoke deck. But if not, I would go for the Primite every time. Okay, now we have Fiendsmith Bestial, and I want to at the same time talk about Fiendsmith Kashtira because they're kind of in the same boat, but you only really can pick one because Bestials and Kashtira cards conflict so much. For example, if you're going second and you summon a Bestial to your board, your Kashtira cards are turned off, so you can't really play those together, so you kind of have to pick. Do you want to play Fiendsmith Bestial or Fiendsmith Kashtira if you want to play kind of a pure Fiendsmith deck? This is the same kind of conflict that I'm going through myself because I'm probably going to play one of these decks tomorrow, and I think that honestly I'm going to probably roll with the Kashtira deck as the better option just because Kashtira Unicorn is looking so spicy right now. And as well, I miss playing Fenrir. I haven't played Fenrir in a long time, and I don't really know what the format's gonna be. I don't know what decks I'm gonna be facing into that much, and I don't know how good the Bestials are gonna be, and I'm taking a big risk if I'm playing a Bestial deck and I just don't run into any light or dark decks. I mean, granted, Fiendsmith is around, everyone's gonna be on Fiendsmith, so obviously Bestials are gonna be a big part of the format because Fiendsmith will be everywhere. But what if I run into Mermail? What if I run into Malice? Where Bestials are just not that great. What if I run into some kind of like pure Ryzeal situation, right? So yeah, for that reason, I think Kashtira Fiendsmith is going to be at the top of the meta right now, or at least one of the top decks. I still think Kashtira Bestial is like up here, but I'm going to just drop it down to strong. I don't think it's quite up here. But, you can argue it either way. I don't know. I think I'll just put it at the bottom of best decks. I do think that they're so comparable that we're going to put them up here. The next deck here is Centurion. I haven't seen Centurion in quite a while, and one of the best features of Centurion was that it didn't lose to Shifter, so that it actually had a good matchup into Shifter decks because they would kind of waste a card. We're not really seeing that anymore. Also, Centurion could play it itself. Also, Centurion needed Bonfire to search Trudea, and they don't have that anymore. And therefore, I'm going to put it down here in There Are Better Options. I think I'm going to put it at the top of There Are Better Options for what it's worth, but yeah, I don't really think Centurion is really going to be doing much. The next one is Fiendsmith Chimera. This one is, special to me because I really like this deck. I'm not really sure what we're going to see out of it. The problem with this deck is that Charmies are kind of an issue. You don't have a really strong board into Fuelos, and even if you get Fuelos and you kind of make a half board, like you're barely playing any non-engines, so you don't really have any hand traps to back you up most of the time. You might have one or like one breaker, like Droplet, which is just not that great to set. So I think I'm going to put it down here in Rogue, but still good. You know, I wish it was a little bit better. I think there will be a time where this deck is better again, but I think I'm going to put it here. Okay, so for Crystron's really hyped right now because, you know, it's unhit by the list, like completely. It still is really strong, really resilient, puts up solid boards, but I think it still has a couple core issues, notably like Ash and Imperm. A timely one can just end your turn like very quickly, and you can say that about most decks, but I don't know. And I feel like this deck plays quite a couple bricks, so it will brick on you every now and then. But maybe there's some kind of like Krishan Kashtira builds going around, or you know, paired up with some other engines that you know are gonna jump up to the top of the meta. But right now I'm gonna just put this in strong. Another cool thing about this deck is it's like dirt cheap. I don't think there's an expensive card in the deck anymore. Everything's been reprinted, so I do think it's a very strong pick. So I'm gonna put it here. For branded, I'm gonna put it in Rogue. I think, unfortunately, we don't see branded fusion coming back to any more than one. I think Druid's Worm getting hit, Dweller getting hit, and Shifter getting hit all benefit this deck. So I mean, it's a net positive for branded, but you know, I wouldn't put it in strong necessarily. But I do think it's a quality Rogue deck, and it's a deck that I kind of want to explore myself going forward into the format. Hero, I don't know. I need to ask my buddy Johnny how Hero is looking right now, but I feel like it's the same. Like Dweller getting hit. Druid's Worm getting hit and Shifter getting hit are all benefits to Hero, but I don't really know what this deck is doing. Like I'm not really sure. I'm gonna put it in better options, to be honest, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong about that, but I would rather play branded, or rather, if I was playing against somebody, I would much rather they were playing Hero than branded. Branded scares the crap out of me. The Exodia deck took a huge hit with Shifter going to one. I'm going to put it down here, and there are better options. Like, it lost 2/3 of its win condition, which is just resolving Dimension Shifter, honestly. So, yeah, that one's going to drop here. Fire King. I like this deck still. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to put it in Rogue, but still good. You know, the Dinkabooey special. I think I'll just drop it here. We'll see how it looks going forward. We'll see if anyone can continue like topping with this deck or like making any kind of showing, but I like what this deck does in general. I think it's a cool concept, and you know, I would not shame anyone for playing the Fire King deck for sure. Fluandry is kind of in the same situation as the Exodia deck. You know, it just lost Shifter. It lost two-thirds of its win con, which is 2 out of 3 shifters, so we're gonna put it here. Okay, Labyrinth. So Labyrinth is hyped right now because it got top 8 at the YCS. Awesome. Congrats to that guy. I'm going to put it in Rogue, but still good. You know, you're not going to see this deck very much. And I'm not sure how it got top 8, but it does receive a buff because Detonator is less popular. But it might... Like, I don't really know. I want to talk about the Odeon deck. Do I have that in this tier list? I don't know. Oh, I guess I don't. Shoot. Well, anyway, I want to talk about the Odeon deck as well. I'll put this in. I think the Odeon deck is in the strong category, but I wonder if it's going to take any, like, you know, collateral damage hits from Odeon being in the format. People are going to start playing back row removal. They're going to start playing evenly matched, and I don't know how Lab is going to deal with that, or, you know, what... Depends on what version of Lab you're playing as well. Like, Furniture Lab can deal much better with something like evenly matched. But if you're playing, like, Trap Labyrinth, evenly is going to obviously hurt. So, yeah, I think Lab is in this category here of Rogue, but still good. I'll put it above Branded. I think Branded's near the bottom of this list. Honestly, Chimera, I don't know. Fiendsmith is pretty damn good. So we'll put it there. And then for Odeon, I'll talk about Odeon now. Odeon is going to go in strong category. Odeon Fiendsmith, I think, is going to be the way to go. Or maybe some Odeon Blue Eyes or something weird like that. People still don't know how to play against it yet. People don't know what it does. So I think it'll go in the strong category for sure. Maliss. Okay, so there's only one Maliss picture in this tier list, but when I'm thinking Maliss, I'm thinking Maliss Fiendsmith, or whatever the best way to play it is. Like, I don't know who, nobody's playing pure Maliss because there's not even enough cards to make a pure Maliss deck. But I'm going to put Maliss up in the best deck still. I really do think Maliss is strong. Still strong, still very good, and I know that we have the Alliance Insight stuff coming soon, and that will definitely put Maliss in the top, like in the top spot. But right now, pre-Alliance Insight, but post-banlist, I think Maliss is still in the best decks category. I'll probably put it down here, maybe below these guys, but I really do think it's a very good deck. Memento Fiendsmith, it just won the YCS. Or what was it on Fiendsmith? Memento Goblin. Memento just won the YCS. I think Memento is very good. I don't think it's going to be very popular. I've been putting Memento near the top of my tier list for like a year, or like since it's been out, or you know, since like the full Memento support has been out. I've been putting it at the top, and I keep acknowledging that, like, hey, nobody plays this deck, but it's very good. And I feel a little bit vindicated because it won the YCS. So I'm going to put it up here in best decks. It's obviously unhit by the ban list, and it's looking good. It's looking kind of clean. I think I'm going to put it probably above Blue Eyes right now. I'll put it like right here, I think. For Mermail, I think it's going to be in the Rogue, but still good category. And I think it's going to be up kind of at the top. I know Bahamut Shark is gone, but Dweller's gone, so that's good. I honestly want to try the going second Mermail deck, like full Breakers version, Charmies, 3 Poseidra. I think that deck will be playable and like an actual contender. So I think I'm going to put Mermail still in Rogue, like even though it lost its turn 1 board capability. I know it can do a hand loop. I know it can set up barrier water statue. I don't know. I don't think hand looping, like the full hand loop combo, is going to be actually any good. Like obviously Moulin Glacier is good, but I don't think people are going to go for like the 4 card loop or 5 loop or whatever. And then water statue is still a strong approach. So I think putting Mermail here in Rogue is a correct choice. Mimighoul. The Mimigoo. I'm going to put it down here, and there are better options right now. I do like the prospect of it being able to play Kashtira cards, which are very strong in the moment. It can stop your opponent from playing Kashtira cards because you put cards on their board, or you put monsters on their board. So I think going first, it's very strong. But going second, it's going to have a tough time against a lot of these top tier decks here. So I'm going to still put it down here in better options. I'll give it a little benefit of the doubt. I'll put it a little bit closer to the top. Ritual Beast. I'm going to also put it down here, and there are better options. It still loses to every Charmy. People are still playing Lancia in their side decks. So, yeah, this thing loses to every side deck card in the game right now, and I'm just going to chop it down here. Okay, now we get to talk about the Ryzeal decks. Ryzeal Fiendsmith, Ryzeal Mitsurugi, and Pure. I think Ryzeal Fiendsmith is up here in strong. I don't really know. I've been a Ryzeal player for a couple months now, and these hits definitely hurt. The consistency hits. And I want to emphasize how much worse 7th Tachyon is than Bonfire. Obviously, it locks you in Xyz, so the synergy with Fiendsmith is hurt. It costs you an extra card, which is also terrible. Opening something like Ice plus Tachyon is much worse than opening something like Ice plus Bonfire. It's just like, it's hit a lot, and I think it got hit much harder than Maliss did. Granted, I'm not a Maliss player. A Maliss player can weigh in. Like, how bad do you think your deck got hit? But I think Ryzeal is like, let's talk about pure Ryzeal. Put it in, there are better options. Like, I don't see it, dude. I think this deck kind of stinks. Like, if you draw a hand of like 3 access to Ryzeal cards with like Ascension, Tachyon, and Ext, like, you're cooked. Like, what are you gonna do? You're so done. Like, you don't have any hand traps to back you up. You have 3 of the same starter. It's just not good. So, yeah, I'm going to put it down in there, better options. Mitsurugi Ryzeal, on the other hand, is going to go in the top tier soon. It's the Mitsurugi support is coming out in Alliance Insight. I think this deck is going to be very good post Alliance Insight. But right now, the consistency is a little bit hurt. Like losing X and two bonfires is very much detrimental to this Mitsurugi Ryzeal deck. I've been labbing different ways to replace those, like using Sharks, using Tachyon, using just like not playing any Ryzeal at all. And I've been really working on this Mitsurugi build before Alliance Insight. I'm probably gonna just switch to post Alliance Insight because I don't know if I'm gonna play this before pre Alliance Insight. But I think this deck is gonna be top tier soon once Mitsurugi comes out. And the reason I think Mitsurugi Ryzeal is gonna be a bit better than Fiendsmith Ryzeal post support, not only is the Mitsurugi engine very good, but also your like XC's locking is not gonna affect your Mitsurugi play, where it does for the Fiendsmith play. So I think that deck will be a little bit more flexible, the Mitsurugi version, and I do like its prospects going forward. But right now, if we're talking pre-Alliance Insight, I think Rise Fiendsmith is still strong. Detonator is still a threat, and even if your Detonator gets outed, you still have a Fiendsmith engine to go. But like now switching back to pure Ryzeal, if your Detonator gets outed and banished by whatever, Chaos Angel, Metaltronus, whatever, you're kind of done. Like what rank 4 is you going to finish a game with? It's going to be hard. Shark, let's not even talk about this. It's gone, unfortunate. RIP Bahamut. Okay, Tenpai, Fiendsmith Bestial. I'm going to put it right here as well. It's kind of next to Ryzeal Bestial. Might even be better, to be honest. It probably is. So I'm going to put this here. I think Tenpai people are going to flock back to that. I think it's still going to be a good deck. And yeah, we're going to see. We're going to see how much Tenpai we start seeing again. Like, I feel like people forgot about that deck for a minute because they just had such a poor matchup into Ryzeal. But now Ryzeal, if Ryzeal falls off a lot, we'll see if Tenpai makes a comeback. Oh, you know what? I actually want to revisit the pure Ryzeal deck. Maybe it's top tier soon with the Star Ryzeal coming out. I don't think so. I think it's still going to be better options. Voiceless Voice. I know there's a lot of Voiceless Voice lovers out there, but it's down here, dude. I haven't seen Voiceless do anything more than Centurion or Mimighoul or Hero or whatever in the last like 3 months. I think there's just better options. I think it's fake news. Okay, the White Forest decks. We have White Forest, Azumina, Toy. Looking at it right now, I would put it in, probably there are better options. Or I think I'll put it in bottom or Rogue. But, for the sake of this tier list, because we have this tier, I'm going to put it in top tier soon. And same with the White Forest Fiendsmith Azumina deck. I think the White Forest deck is going to be very good post Alliance Insight. It gets so much support in Alliance Insight, and I think that this deck will be a contender then. But it's not a contender now, and I think that's where we're going to have it. Okay, now we have the Yubel Fiendsmith deck. I'm going to put it up in strong. I really like this deck. I think it's going to be a good contender. It, losing or getting rid of Shifter, Dweller, and Druis was a huge boon for this deck. It got Shavar back to 2. You don't really need to play 2 though, so I don't know if that will matter. But I think this deck is very good, and I'm gonna put it like up here. Honestly, I have high hopes for this deck, but we'll see. Musketeer, obviously Musketeer Fiendsmith. I'm gonna put it. I don't know. Like, you got to be playing like Bestials or Kashtira like with this, right? Or is this like Fiend Link? But if you're playing Fiend Link, just play Yubel. I'm gonna still put it in strong. Like, it's still a Fiendsmith Turbo deck. Fiendsmith's still the best engine in the game, so we're gonna put it here. But I would like, there's so many other Fiendsmith variants above it. Like, look at this: Ryzeal, Tenpai, Yubel, Maliss, Bestial, Memento, Kashtira. It's the 9th best Fiendsmith deck. But I'll still put it in strong, Goblin Biker. So we can talk about Goblin Biker. We can talk about Goblin Biker Memento. I think those are 2 different options. Goblin Biker's strength comes from the popularity of Ryzeal, and I don't think Ryzeal is popular anymore. especially pure Ryzeal. So it lost its best matchup, and therefore I think there are just better options. I think because when Ryzeal falls off, Goblin Biker also falls off naturally, right? Snake Eye. It got Ash and Poplar back to 2. It lost 2 bonfires. It's still in the same place. It's still not good. If you want to play a fire deck, play the Fire King deck. It's much better right now. But yeah, I think Snake Eye, there's still better options. I think it's probably down around here. And then Plunder Patrol. Welcome to Fiendsmith Yugioh, where Plunder Patrol is my favorite deck. Everyone asks, hey, where's Plunder on the tier list? I'm going to tell you right now. You already know. Catch you guys later.